Welcome back to our channel World of Coins, the place where we uncover hidden treasures in your coin collection. Have you ever wondered if that old coins could be worth thousands or even millions? Well, today's your lucky day. We're diving into some of the rarest and most valuable US coins that might be sitting right under your nose. Let's jump in and see if you've got a fortune waiting to be discovered. Top 1. Today, we're diving deep into the heart of a coin that's been quietly hiding in plain sight, nestled in old drawers, dusty jars, and even your change pocket. This is no ordinary penny. This is the 1963 Lincoln 1-cent penny, and what you're about to discover might just change the way you look at every single cent that passes through your hands. Now take a seat, turn the volume up, and pay very close attention, because this isn't just a story of copper and coins, it's a journey through history, mystery, and the extraordinary value that a simple penny can hold. Let's begin. It's the year 1963. John F. Kennedy is the President of the United States. Martin Luther King Jr. is delivering powerful speeches that will echo through history. The Beatles are on the rise in England, and the world is on the edge of social transformation. Meanwhile, at the US Mint, billions of coins are being struck, coins that will be touched by the hands of millions, yet only a precious few will become treasures of legend. The Lincoln cent, first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, had already become an iconic symbol of American currency. By 1963, this coin had seen decades of circulation, but one year, one specific mintage, would stand apart from all others. You see, most 1963 Lincoln pennies were minted without any issues. They came from the Philadelphia and Denver mints, totaling over 2.5 billion coins that year. But what separates the common from the rare, the ordinary from the extraordinary, are the details, those barely visible imperfections, those unexpected errors, those secret markings that only the trained eye or lucky finder might detect. Let's talk about rarity and errors, the two pillars of value in the world of coin collecting. Point 1. Of the most sought-after errors on the 1963 Lincoln penny is the double die obverse, a misalignment during the minting process that causes the design, especially the date and the letters in Liberty or in God We Trust, to appear slightly doubled. Under magnification, this doubling becomes obvious, and collectors go absolutely wild for it. A clean, well-preserved double die error from 1963 can instantly launch a humble coin into the ranks of the highly valuable. Another rare feature that has made some 1963 Lincoln cents extremely valuable is the off-center strike. This happens when the blank planchet, the flat piece of metal before it becomes a coin, is not properly aligned under the die press. The result? A coin with the design pushed to one side, sometimes missing large parts of the portrait or text. The more dramatic the misalignment, the more collectible the coin becomes. Then we come to the clipped planchet errors. These are coins where a piece of the coin appears to be missing, usually along the edge. It might look like someone took a bite out of the coin. But this is no damage, this is a genuine mint error, and the right example can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. There are also die cracks, cut errors, repunched mint marks, and even some fascinating color variations. Yes, even the tone of the copper can influence a coin's value. Some 1963 Lincoln pennies take on a brilliant red hue if stored properly in a protective case away from air and moisture. These red coins, especially in mint state, command much higher premiums than their brown or red-brown counterparts. But what about the condition? Condition is king. A 1963 Lincoln penny pulled from circulation today might only be worth a few cents, unless it has that one rare error or is in pristine condition. A coin that's never been touched by human hands, that has survived over 60 years without a single blemish, still glowing red and sharp in detail, that's a gem. Those are the coins that end up in high-end auctions. That's where the real excitement begins. Imagine this, a collector spots a 1963 Lincoln penny with all the right signs, unbelievable luster, zero scratches, perfect centering, and the telltale doubling of a rare error. They send it off to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. The results come back, mint state 67 red double die obverse, bingo. Suddenly, what was once thought of as a simple penny becomes a national headline in the numismatic world. Collectors battle for ownership. Bidders flood in. The auction floor becomes electric with excitement and then, sold. For a jaw-dropping total of $143,000. That's right. A 1-cent coin, just 3.11 grams of copper alloy, sold for that astronomical amount. The kind of money that buys you a brand new luxury car, a college education, or a beautiful home in some towns. All for a penny, and here's the kicker, you might already own one. That's why this video is so important. That's why collectors, just like you, need to check every single coin carefully. Pull out the magnifying glass, examine those dates, compare the edges, and learn the signs of true rarity. The thrill of the hunt isn't just in the value, it's in the discovery. It's about holding a piece of history, something that millions have overlooked, and realizing you've struck hidden gold. So, if you've made it this far, congratulations, you're already ahead of 99% of the world. Because now, when you see a 1963 Lincoln penny, you'll see far more than copper. You'll see potential. You'll see a story. And you might just see a fortune. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want more exciting stories about rare and valuable coins, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a hidden treasure. Leave a comment if you found a rare penny yourself. We'd love to hear your story. Until next time, keep searching, keep collecting, and remember, every coin tells a story. Yours might just be worth $143,000. Top 2. Now, I want you to stop whatever you're doing, focus closely, and truly listen, because this is not just any penny we're talking about. This is the 1968 Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin that has shocked collectors, stunned auction houses, and proven that hidden fortune sometimes comes in the humblest form. This isn't fiction. This is numismatic reality. So sit back, open your eyes wide, and let's unravel the true story of this remarkable coin, one that might just be hiding in your pocket change or old coin jar right now. Let's set the scene. The year is 1968. America is in the midst of transformation. Martin Luther King Jr. has just been assassinated. Robert F. Kennedy is gone too. The Vietnam War is escalating. Across the country, tension and hope collide. Amid all this, the U.S. Mint is continuing its daily operations, striking millions of coins to keep the economy moving, and among those coins, billions of Lincoln pennies are made. But not all are equal. Not even close. The Lincoln cent, introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, is already beloved and iconic. By 1968, it has undergone several changes, most notably, the removal of the mint mark from Philadelphia minted coins in the early 1960s, and then the return of mint marks in 1968. Yes, this is the first year the S mint mark reappears on Lincoln cents minted in San Francisco, an important clue for collectors, but here's where the real story begins. Out of the billions of 1968 pennies struck that year in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, only a handful have been found with errors, details, and conditions that make them worth a fortune today. So what makes a 1968 Lincoln penny go from just 1 cent, to the dream of a lifetime? Let's talk about rarity, errors, and condition. First, there's the legendary 1968 S double die obverse. A doubling of the date, of the word liberty, and especially of the phrase, "In God we trust," can clearly be seen when magnified. This doubling happens when the die that stamps the coin is misaligned or struck twice. Not all eyes catch this, but collectors with trained vision know the signs. And when a clear double die is discovered, the value skyrockets. These double die errors are among the most collectible and valuable of all coin mistakes. But they are also extremely rare. In fact, only a very small number of confirmed double die obverse Lincoln cents from 1968 have ever been found in high grade. And their prices? Well, we'll get to that soon enough. Second, the 1968 Lincoln penny is known for a fascinating range of mint errors that slip past the minting process: coins with off-center strikes, broad strikes, die breaks, and cut errors. For example, if a coin was improperly centered when struck, part of the design might be missing or skewed. These off-center coins, especially if the date is still visible, can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Imagine finding a 1968 penny where half the coin is blank and the other half is perfectly struck. To the untrained eye, it looks like damage. But to a collector, it's a treasure. And what about clipped planchets? These are coins where a piece of the rim is missing, cleanly sliced during the production process. A clear, curved clip on a 1968 penny, especially one from San Francisco, can raise its value dramatically. Third, and just as important, is grade and condition. A coin's grade refers to how well it has been preserved. Grading ranges from poor to mint state 70. Most 1968 pennies that you'll find in circulation are brown, worn, and barely legible. But a brilliant red, mint state coin, with all the original luster, no contact marks, and a perfect strike. That's what collectors dream about. In fact, some of the highest-priced 1968 pennies are not just rare due to errors, they're rare because they've survived the decades in flawless, untouched condition. Coins graded MS66 or higher, especially those with vivid red surfaces, are among the most desirable, but here's where the story gets even more exciting. Every now and then, a collector finds the perfect storm, a 1968 penny from the San Francisco Mint, with a double die error, in brilliant red uncirculated condition, graded MS66 or better. When such a coin appears, it's not just a sale. It's a headline. The numismatic world holds its breath. Auction houses prepare. Collectors gear up. And when the bidding starts, it's electric. And then, with paddles raised and hearts racing, it happens. Sold, for $127,000, yes, you heard that right. A 1-cent coin. Minted in 1968. Sold for $127,000, let that sink in. That's more than many people earn in 2 years of work. That's more than the price of luxury cars or lakefront property in some states. And it all started with a penny. One lucky collector's knowledge, patience, and passion turned what most people ignore into a life-changing moment. So now, the question is, what's in your collection? Could there be a double-die 1968 penny hiding among your coins? Could you be the next collector to uncover the rare error, the pristine gem, the overlooked fortune? Every collector starts somewhere. Every treasure was once just another coin. But with careful eyes, persistence, and a little luck, you might just stumble upon history. You might just hold a penny that rewrites your story. So take out your magnifying glass. Start checking those old jars. Look closely at that little copper coin from 1968. Because maybe, just maybe, it's worth $127,000. Thank you for joining us on this exciting journey through the world of rare coins. If you loved this story and want more real coin discoveries, amazing facts, and eye-popping values, be sure to hit that like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Drop a comment if you've ever found a rare coin, or if you're just starting your collection. We'd love to hear your story. Top 3. We're talking about a coin that millions of Americans have seen, touched, or spent without even a second thought. It's copper. It's round. And it was minted in a year filled with historic moments and lasting legacy. Today, we bring you the fascinating and often misunderstood tale of the 1964 Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin that could very well be sitting in your coin jar or hidden in the back of an old drawer, and yet it might be worth more than your car, more than your savings, and even more than your house. So sit back, grab a magnifying glass if you have one, and let's take a deep dive into what makes this seemingly ordinary penny. From 1964, a collector's dream and, for a lucky few, a life-changing discovery. The year is 1964. America is on the cusp of a cultural revolution. The Civil Rights Act has just been signed into law. The Beatles have landed on American soil, sparking Beatlemania. And the country is still reeling from the assassination of President John F. Kennedy the year before. In this moment of massive change and uncertainty, the United States Mint continued doing what it always had, striking coins for the American people. And one of the most commonly produced coins that year was the Lincoln cent, a coin first introduced in 1909 to honor one of America's greatest presidents. The Lincoln cent had already earned a special place in American culture. But what happened in 1964 would later become one of the most interesting chapters in the penny's long and rich history. You see, in 1964 alone, the U.S. Mint produced an astonishing 6.5 billion Lincoln cents across its facilities in Philadelphia and Denver. That number might make you think every 1964 penny is common, and at first glance, you'd be right, but in the world of coin collecting, it's not about how many were made. It's about how few were made with the rare traits, unexpected flaws, or preserved perfection that make them valuable beyond belief. So what is it about the 1964 Lincoln cent that has caused collectors to chase it for decades? The answer lies in the rare errors, unusual varieties, and the mysterious survival of high-grade coins in perfect condition. Let's begin with the most exciting category, minting errors. One of the most desired and extremely rare versions of the 1964 penny is the double die obverse. This means the coin's design was struck twice by the die in a slightly offset position, creating a clear and noticeable doubling on key features, especially on the word liberty, the motto, "In God We Trust," and the numbers in the date. Collectors go crazy over this kind of doubling. And not every 1964 penny has it. In fact, it's incredibly hard to find, especially in high-grade condition. But if you do find one, you're looking at a penny that's not just rare, it's powerful in the world of numismatics. Now let's talk about another treasure, off-center strikes. A normal penny has its design perfectly centered, but an off-center error occurs when the coin blank is not aligned properly in the press. The result is a coin where part of the design is missing and blank space appears along the edges. The more dramatic the off-center strike, and if the date is still visible, the more valuable the coin becomes. That we also have clipped planchets. These errors occur when the metal sheet used to punch coin blanks overlaps or misfeeds, resulting in coins that appear to have a small crescent or corner missing. These coins are usually easy to spot, but few people realize how rare some clipped 1964 pennies are, especially if they're from the Denver Mint and are still in mint condition. And then there's the die break and cut error category. These happen when a part of the die breaks off, causing raised metal blobs or missing design sections on the finished coin. These coins, although odd-looking to a beginner, are absolute treasures to experienced collectors who understand how difficult it is to find such pieces from the 1964 batch. But even without an error, condition alone can make a 1964 penny incredibly valuable. Most 1964 Lincoln cents today are well worn. They've been used in transactions, rubbed against other coins, dropped, tossed, forgotten. But a few, just a very few, were somehow preserved in their original, mint state condition. Coins with shiny red surfaces, no scratches, and perfectly struck details, these are known as mint state red coins, and when graded by experts, like PCGS or NGC, as MS66, MS67, or even higher, they become some of the most desired Lincoln cents from the entire 1960s era. Why? Because they are virtually flawless. They represent what the coin looked like the moment it was struck, untouched by time or human hands, and when these high-grade condition coins also include a rare variety or error, that's when lightning strikes. That's when auction houses start whispering. That's when coin dealers raise their brows. That's when collectors pull out their checkbooks and compete fiercely, because every once in a while, a 1964 Lincoln penny is discovered with a rare double die, mint state red luster, perfect centering, and no blemishes whatsoever, and when it happens, it doesn't just sell. It stuns the market. One such penny, carefully stored for decades, eventually made its way to an elite auction where seasoned collectors and investment-minded buyers gathered to get a piece of history. The bids flew, the competition heated, and when the gavel fell, that tiny coin, barely an inch wide and worth just 1 cent in face value, was sold for $139,000. Yes, you heard that right. $139,000, for a penny from 1964. And the most amazing part? That penny could have easily been overlooked by anyone else. It could have been spent at a grocery store, dropped in a parking lot, forgotten in a pocket, but someone saw its value. Someone knew its worth. And it changed everything. So now, the question is, do you have one? Go check your coins. Pull out that old coin folder your grandfather gave you. Look through your childhood piggy bank. Because buried within your collection might be one of the rarest, most valuable pennies in circulation, and if you find a 1964 Lincoln cent with clean details, a strong red glow, or an obvious minting error, don't spend it. Examine it. Protect it. And maybe even send it off for grading, because just maybe, you're holding a piece of copper that's worth $139,000. Thank you for watching this special episode. If you loved this story and want more exciting tales about rare coins, hidden treasures, and real coin values that shock the world, be sure to like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you never miss the next big discovery. Drop a comment below and let us know, have you ever found a rare Lincoln penny? What's the oldest coin in your collection? Until next time, remember, never underestimate a penny, because it might just change your life. Top 4. You're about to hear the story of a penny, a small copper coin, that many people would ignore, toss in a jar, or hand over without a second thought, but that's a mistake, because the penny we're about to explore could be worth more than $100,000. This is no ordinary coin. This is the 1971 Lincoln 1-cent penny, and hidden within its copper shell lies a world of mystery, errors, and numismatic magic that has stunned collectors, excited historians, and changed lives. So, wherever you are, lean in, listen closely, and pay very careful attention. Because this might be the most valuable penny story you'll ever hear, and you never know, it could be hiding in your pocket right now. Let's set the stage. The year is 1971. Richard Nixon is in the White House. Walt Disney World just opened in Florida. Intel releases the world's first microprocessor. And in the background, the United States Mint is producing coins, millions and millions of them, day after day, hour after hour, and among all those coins was one that would go on to shock the collecting world, the 1971 Lincoln cent. Now, the Lincoln cent has been part of American history since 1909. It was the first U.S. coin to feature the image of a real person, President Abraham Lincoln. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin quickly became iconic, and by the 1970s, it was deeply embedded in American life. But in 1971, something unusual happened. 3 different mints, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, produced Lincoln pennies that year. Over 5.3 billion were minted in total. But out of those billions, just a few carried extraordinary secrets, errors and variations so rare and valuable, they've made headlines in the coin collecting world. Let's break it down. What makes a 1971 penny truly valuable? The answer lies in errors, varieties, and condition. First, let's talk about one of the most famous and desired varieties, the 1971 double die obverse. In this error, the die that strikes the front of the coin, called the obverse, was accidentally engraved twice at slightly different angles. The result? Clear doubling in the words, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date, 1971. When viewed under magnification, these letters and numbers appear slightly echoed or shadowed, a clear and telltale sign of a double die. This type of doubling is one of the most collectible errors in numismatics. But what makes the 1971 version especially rare is that most people have never looked closely enough to notice it. These coins ended up in jars, in cash registers, in pockets. Some were spent, lost, or forgotten. But the few that survived, and were eventually recognized, became instant legends. Another category of error that turns an average 1971 penny into a collector's prize is the off-center strike. When a coin is not properly centered beneath the die during striking, part of the design is pushed to the edge or even completely missing. If you find a 1971 penny that is 5%, 10%, or even 50% off-center, and it still shows the full date, you found a coin that could be worth hundreds or even thousands. And there's more. What about clipped planchets? That's when the circular metal blanks used to strike coins are misfed into the press, resulting in a coin that appears to have a chunk or crescent missing. Some people mistake these for damaged coins. But a true clipped planchet from 1971, especially if it's sharp, clean, and verified, can carry serious collector value. We also need to talk about die cracks, cut errors, and strike-throughs. These are all types of minting mishaps that leave visible, unique marks on a coin. A die crack might look like a lightning bolt running across the coin. A cut appears as a raised blob of metal where part of the die broke off. And a strike-through error occurs when a foreign object, like a piece of cloth or wire, gets between the die and the blank during the strike, leaving behind a strange texture or impression. All of these errors are rare, collectible, and valuable. But their worth skyrockets when the coin is also in pristine condition. That's where grading comes in. Coins are graded on a scale from poor, Pete 1, to mint state 70, MS 70. Most coins that have been in circulation for years might be fine, F 12, or very fine, VF 20, showing wear, scratches, and dull surfaces, but occasionally, a coin emerges in brilliant, uncirculated condition, called a mint state red coin. These coins have been carefully preserved since the day they were minted, never touched by human hands, never circulated, and showing their original fiery copper color. These are the coins that attract serious collectors. And if a mint state red 1971 penny also features a rare error, like a double die or off-center strike, its value multiplies instantly. Now let's talk about one such coin. It started its life just like any other 1971 penny. It was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. But this particular coin was different. That it had a perfectly clear double die obverse, with strong, noticeable doubling on the date and inscriptions. Even more amazing, it was graded mint state 66 red by one of the top grading services. No wear. No marks. Just glowing red copper and razor-sharp details. When this coin hit the auction floor, collectors around the world noticed. The bidding was fierce. The auction house was electric, and when the hammer finally dropped, the final price for this one tiny copper coin, a coin most people would overlook or toss aside, was a jaw-dropping total of $113,000, yes. You heard that right. $113,000, for a penny, from 1971. Now imagine this. What if you've already seen a 1971 penny just like it? What if you have one in your collection and never thought to check it under magnification? What if the next treasure isn't buried deep underground, but already resting in your hands? That's the magic of coin collecting. It's about more than money. It's about discovery, history, patience, and the excitement of turning something ordinary into something extraordinary. So here's what you need to do: start checking your 1971 pennies. Use a magnifying glass. Look at the lettering, the date, and the surface. Does anything seem odd? Off-center? Doubled? Unusual? If it does, don't spend it. Protect it. Research it. And consider getting it graded, because just maybe, you're holding a coin worth $113,000. Thank you for joining us. If you enjoyed this journey into the hidden world of rare pennies, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the bell so you never miss a video. Have you ever found an unusual 1971 penny? Tell us your story in the comments below. We love hearing from fellow collectors. Until next time, keep looking closely, keep learning, and remember, every coin has a story, and some can change your life. Top 5. I invite you on a journey. A journey that begins with a coin so common in appearance that most people pass it without a second glance. A coin you might have in your pocket right now. But beneath its copper surface lies a story of hidden value, rare errors, and unbelievable auction surprises. Yes, today, we're talking about the 1973 Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin that, to the untrained eye, seems ordinary. But in the world of numismatics, even the smallest copper coin can hold a secret that makes it extraordinarily valuable. So sit back, watch closely, and listen carefully, because this isn't just about a penny. It's about a hidden gem, a mystery, and the thrill of the unexpected that could change your life if you happen to find one of these in your own collection. Let's rewind to the year 1973. The Vietnam War is still ongoing. The Watergate scandal is making headlines. The World Trade Center in New York has just been completed. And while the world was changing rapidly, the U.S. Mint was quietly producing coins that would soon become pieces of that very history. Among those coins was the Lincoln cent. Since 1909, the Lincoln penny has carried the image of the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln. By 1973, this familiar design was already a part of everyday American life, used in vending machines, handed to children as change, and often forgotten in pockets and couch cushions. But here's where things get interesting. In 1973, the U.S. Mint struck more than 5.8 billion Lincoln pennies. Yes, billions. So how, you might ask, can any coin from such a massive batch be valuable? The answer lies in the details. the tiny, often invisible minting mistakes, the surviving high-grade examples, and the unexpected errors that happened in the blink of an eye on a high-speed minting press. Let's start with one of the most captivating elements of this penny's legacy. The 1973 double die obverse. That a double die error is a result of the die, used to stamp the image on the coin, receiving a doubled impression during its creation. That means when a coin is struck, the design appears doubled, especially in areas like "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1973. Collectors know this instantly. Under a magnifying glass, these letters and numbers appear to have shadows, double lines that are clearly visible if you know what to look for. But not every collector knows about the rare 1973 double die, and that's what makes it so sought after. Only a few of these coins have ever been found in good condition, making them exceedingly rare. Next, let's explore another treasure among errors, the off-center strike. These errors occur when the blank planchet, the metal disc that becomes the coin, is not centered under the die press. The result? A coin with part of the design missing and a crescent of blank space around the rim. Now here's the kicker: if the coin is dramatically off-center and still shows the full date, it becomes incredibly valuable. And yes, such 1973 Lincoln cents do exist. Then we come to the clipped planchet error. These are coins that appear to be missing a small curved section, almost like someone took a bite out of the edge. This occurs during the punching of the blanks before striking. Combine that with a good grade and a visible date, and you're looking at a penny that can fetch high prices among collectors. But let's not stop there. Have you ever heard of a struck-through error? These oddities occur when something, like a piece of thread, cloth, or grease, gets between the die and the planchet during minting. The object leaves a permanent impression on the coin, resulting in unique markings and distorted features. Every struck-through coin is one of a kind, making them highly collectible. There's also the broad strike, which happens when the retaining collar fails to hold the coin in place during the strike, causing it to spread wider than normal. A 1973 penny with this error can look bizarre and oversized, an unusual shape that instantly grabs the attention of any seasoned numismatist. Now here's what really adds fuel to the fire of value: the condition of the coin. In the world of coin grading, condition is king. Coins are graded from poor, P1, to mint state, MS 70. Most 1973 pennies you'll find in circulation are heavily worn, brown from oxidation, and scratched from decades of use. But the coins that stayed protected, the ones that were carefully stored away in rolls, envelopes, or sealed containers, those coins can remain in a dazzling mint state red condition. These gleaming coins show no signs of wear, still shine with original mint luster, and exhibit crisp, sharp details. Now combine a rare mint error with a pristine grade, and you have the makings of a legendary coin. And believe it or not, one such coin shocked the collector world not long ago. It was a 1973 Lincoln cent with a double die obverse, perfectly preserved in mint state red, graded MS 67, a near-perfect coin, and when that coin hit the auction floor, collectors knew exactly what it was. The bids came in fast. The excitement in the room built up. And when the final gavel fell, this small copper coin, just 3.11 grams in weight and worth only 1 cent at face value, sold for a staggering total of $109,000. Yes. Let that sink in. $109,000, for a penny, from 1973. A penny most people would walk past on the sidewalk. A penny that could easily be hiding in a coin jar, a desk drawer, or your childhood piggy bank. So what should you do now? Simple. Start looking. Examine every 1973 penny you come across. Check for doubling on the date and letters. Look at the edges for clips or broad strikes. Use a magnifying glass. If you spot something odd, don't ignore it. You might be holding a treasure without realizing it, and if you find one in amazing condition, red, shiny, no wear, protect it immediately. Consider having it graded by a trusted coin grading service like PCGS or NGC, because that tiny coin you almost overlooked might just be worth $109,000. Thank you for joining us on another incredible journey through the world of rare and valuable coins. If you enjoyed this story and want to discover more hidden treasures, mysterious mint errors, and shocking auction prices, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you never miss another episode. Drop a comment below and tell us, have you ever found a strange penny in your collection? What's your oldest or most unique coin? Until next time, never underestimate the power of a penny, especially one from 1973. Top 6. Today's story is about a humble little coin that millions of people have held in their hands, but only a tiny fraction have truly understood. It's copper. It's round. It's worth just 1 cent in your pocket. But in the hands of the right collector, under the right circumstances, it can be worth a small fortune. This is the unbelievable story of the 1974 Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin that hides surprises, secrets, and stunning errors that could turn your old coin jar into a goldmine. So I want you to sit back, listen carefully, and don't blink, because this story could change the way you look at every penny you've ever touched. Let's rewind to the year 1974. The United States is in a state of transformation. The Watergate scandal is dominating headlines. President Nixon's days in office are numbered. Gasoline prices are rising. And in the background of all this political and economic drama, the United States Mint is continuing its massive operation, churning out coins for everyday use by millions of Americans. In that year alone, the Mint produced over 8 billion Lincoln cents. That includes coins from Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, with the D mint mark, and San Francisco, used mainly for proof coins. So, the question is, how can a coin that had billions of copies ever become rare or valuable? The answer lies in 2 simple words: errors and condition. And the 1974 penny has some of the most intriguing examples of both. Let's start with the most fascinating and rarest twist in this coin story, the 1974 aluminum cent experiment. Yes, aluminum. In 1974, the U.S. Mint began experimenting with aluminum planchets to reduce the cost of making pennies, since copper prices were rising rapidly. Over 1.5 million aluminum cents were struck in 1974 as test pieces. But in the end, they were never released to the public. The plan was scrapped, and nearly all the aluminum pennies were destroyed. Or so they thought. A handful of aluminum 1974 cents survived. Some were given to Congress as samples and were never returned. These coins are illegal to own, but they are legendary in the numismatic community. Just the idea that one of these rare aluminum cents could still be out there is enough to make collectors' hearts race. Now, let's get into the coins you can find, and that you should be looking for. First, there's the extremely rare and desirable 1974 double die obverse. This happens when the die used to strike the coin has been impressed more than once with slight misalignment, causing visible doubling in key areas of the design, especially in Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date, 1974. Not many of these double die pennies were discovered. In fact, only a small number are known to exist in high grades. But when you find one, the value jumps dramatically, especially if the coin is in near perfect condition. Next, let's talk about off-center strikes. These coins were struck when the planchet wasn't correctly positioned under the dies. The result is a misaligned design, with part of the coin blank and part of the image pushed toward the edge. If you can see the full date on an off-center 1974 penny, congratulations, you've got something special. We also have the broad strike error, a coin that was struck without the retaining collar in place, causing the coin to spread out and look unusually wide. These errors can be worth far more than face value, especially when paired with a strong strike in full detail. Another rare and valuable mistake is the clipped planchet, when part of the metal blank is cut off before striking. This leaves a crescent-shaped gap on the coin's edge. A clipped 1974 penny in good shape, especially with a visible date and mint mark, can fetch strong collector interest, but we're not done yet. Don't overlook the struck-through errors, where foreign material gets between the die and the planchet during minting, leaving strange impressions on the coin. Some struck-through 1974 cents are known to have wire, cloth, or grease marks embedded into the design. These coins are not just valuable, they're unique, and uniqueness means collector demand. Now, let's shift focus to something just as critical as the error itself, the condition of the coin. Condition is everything in coin collecting. The grading scale ranges from poor, P1, to perfect mint state, MS 70. Most 1974 pennies you'll find today are worn, dirty, and discolored, showing the signs of nearly 5 decades in circulation. But some were saved from the start. They were tucked into rolls, stored away, or preserved in proof sets. These coins have no scratches, no wear, and shine with their original mint red color. A 1974 penny in mint state 65 or higher is already a collector's item. But one with a rare error in this condition. That's when magic happens, and that brings us to one of the most incredible stories surrounding the 1974 Lincoln cent. A collector sorting through old rolls of uncirculated pennies noticed something strange. A coin with flawless red luster, perfectly centered details, and unmistakable doubling in the inscriptions. It was submitted for professional grading. When the results came back, jaws dropped. 1974 double die obverse. Mint state 66 red, the coin was one of only a few known to exist in such condition. And when it went up for auction, the excitement in the numismatic world was immediate. Collectors lined up, bids flew, and history was made. When the final gavel dropped, the coin, just 1 cent in face value, made of 95% copper and weighing 3.11 grams, sold for a stunning $105,000. Yes. You heard that right. $105,000, for a penny, from 1974. And now, I have to ask, have you checked your 1974 pennies? Go find them. Look closely. Use a magnifying glass. Search for doubling, off-center strikes, strange textures, or clipped edges. And if you find one in sharp condition, shiny, red, crisp, and unusual, don't ignore it. That penny might not be just spare change. It might be a treasure waiting to be discovered. Thank you for joining us. If you love rare coin stories, shocking prices, and the thrill of the hunt, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a hidden gem. Have you ever found a weird 1974 penny? Or do you have a family coin collection hiding somewhere? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your story. Until next time, remember, coins may be small, but the right one can change everything. Top 7. You're about to discover how something as simple as a 1975 Lincoln penny could hold a value far beyond its 1 cent face. If you think all pennies are created equal, think again, because what we're diving into today is no ordinary piece of pocket change. This is the story of the 1975 Lincoln 1 cent penny, a copper coin with a hidden past, mysterious errors, and a shocking value that has left even expert collectors speechless. So whether you're a longtime numismatist or just someone who enjoys the thrill of finding treasure in the most unexpected places, stay with us. Because what you're about to hear might just make you rush to your coin jar the moment this video ends. Let's begin. The year is 1975. America is in a state of reflection. The Vietnam War has officially come to an end. The Apollo space program is winding down. Jaws is scaring audiences across the country, and Bruce Springsteen is becoming a household name. It's a time of transition, and as always, the U.S. Mint continues to roll out coins to power the American economy. One of those coins was the Lincoln penny, struck in Philadelphia, Denver, and in proof form at the San Francisco Mint. Now, here's the kicker: more than 5.4 billion Lincoln cents were produced in 1975. That sounds like a lot, and it is. But just because something is common doesn't mean it lacks value. In fact, the most valuable coins in the world often start life as ordinary, until a rare error, a high grade, or a unique feature turns them into legendary pieces, and the 1975 penny. It's no exception. Let's first explore the different versions of the 1975 penny you might come across. The Philadelphia Mint version has no mint mark and was produced in massive quantities. The Denver Mint version bears a D mint mark. The San Francisco Mint struck proof coins only, beautiful, mirror finish examples never meant for circulation. But what you should know is that some 1975 Lincoln pennies are not like the others. Let's start with mint errors, the hidden detail that can take a 1 cent coin and launch its value into the stratosphere. One of the most sought after and prized errors is the double die obverse. These errors occur when the die that stamps the front of the coin is accidentally impressed more than once, but slightly off each time. The result? The words, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and even the date, 1975, show clear doubling. These double die errors are not only rare, they're exciting. When found in high grade, with strong luster and bold doubling, they can command jaw-dropping prices. Another eye-catching error to look for is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin blank isn't perfectly aligned with the dies. The coin is still struck, but the design ends up shifted toward one side, leaving a portion blank. The more off-center the strike, the more valuable the coin becomes, especially if the full date is visible. Next, we have the broad strike error. Normally, coins are held in a collar during minting so that the edges remain round and the design stays centered. But when that collar fails, the coin spreads outward, creating a wider than normal penny with no defined edge. A broad-struck 1975 Lincoln cent can be a highly collectible piece, especially when it's in mint state. Let's not forget the clipped planchet error. Imagine a coin that looks like someone took a clean bite out of the side. This happens when blanks are punched too close together in the metal strip, resulting in a clip. A 1975 penny with a curved clip, in a high grade, and with full details, can be worth far more than face value, but one of the most mysterious and desirable errors is the struck-through. This is when something, like grease, wire, fabric, or metal shavings, gets between the die and the coin blank during minting. What you get is a coin with a strange, distorted mark that makes it one of a kind. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. Let's talk condition. Grading plays a massive role in coin value. The Sheldon scale ranges from poor, P1, to mint state, MS, 70. Most pennies, especially from 1975, have been in circulation for decades. They've been through cash registers, piggy banks, pants pockets, you name it, but some 1975 Lincoln pennies avoided all of that. They were tucked into original rolls, sealed in mint sets, or preserved in untouched proof sets. These coins kept their bright red shine, their original mint luster. In grading terms, these are called red mint state coins, and they can fetch thousands of dollars even without errors, but combine a major error, like a double die, a dramatic off-center strike, or a broad strike, with a mint state red grade, and you're talking about the upper stratosphere of coin collecting. And now, let's talk about a real story. A collector going through a sealed roll of 1975 pennies stumbled across one that instantly looked strange. The letters in Liberty and the motto "In God We Trust" were doubled. The date had a ghost-like shadow around it. And the coin was shiny. Red. Beautiful. Almost untouched by time. That he sent the coin to a professional grading service, and when the results came back, 1975 Lincoln cent double die obverse. Mint state 67 RED. Was one of the finest examples ever found, and when that coin went to auction, collectors didn't hold back. The bids flew in. The numismatic world took notice. And this one copper penny, weighing just 3.11 grams and measuring less than an inch in diameter, sold for a stunning, life-changing total of $100,000, yes. You heard that correctly, $100,000, for a penny, from 1975. And now I ask you, have you checked your 1975 pennies? They might be sitting in an old jar, hiding in a desk drawer, stuck at the bottom of a shoebox, or waiting patiently in a forgotten roll. Take a magnifying glass. Look closely. Examine the edges, the design, the luster, and most importantly, the date and letters, because hidden among the billions, might be your very own rare treasure. Thank you for joining us on this thrilling journey through the world of valuable coins. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another episode, and don't forget, drop a comment below. Have you ever found a strange penny? A coin with a mistake? Or maybe just a shiny red gem from the 1970s? We'd love to hear your story. Every coin tells a story, and some are worth $100,000.